But, like, wow, yesterday I had a bit of a laugh. I went on Tim Westwood's radio show. It's interesting to go on Tim Westwood's radio show. I shall tell you for why. Because he's like a mad carnival of hip-hop insanity. Have you ever listened to it, Trevor or Matt?
I've accidentally listened to it, yeah.
Inadvertently, you heard it?
Absolutely, yeah. It wasn't a choice, no, it was a frightening experience.
Yeah, well, you should try being in there. It's brilliant. I will say this, I love Tim Westwood. He's magnificent. He's a magnificent
He's a
man.
friendly fella in real life, isn't he? Yeah.
He's lovely. Okay, but it's when, like, somebody calls me dog, it puts me under certain obligations and pressures, I think. You know, but I really liked him. You liked him and all, Matt. You were there with me.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy. And also, I'd not heard the show until I was in the show.
Yeah, it's amazing, because there's guns going off and explosions.
He presses a button and it goes when it's a bomb, and then it goes when it's guns, noises, and...
Why would he do that, though? I mean, what does that...
Builds atmosphere, doesn't it?
He gets all enthusiastic, and then he sort of just taps this screen. He fires off samples.
Yeah, of guns going off. It's amazing stuff from Tim Westwood. I really like him.
Perhaps he has it up really loud in there. It's like you're in a club.
Yeah.
Or a war.
And he's or a war.
A sort of a war in a club. It's like a club war. You're under a lot of pressure while in that show. Yeah. I think, do you know what? I think we should try and talk to Tim Westwood later on this show. This is the Sunday school section of our show where we want to learn stuff. We talked before about going on Tim Westwood. We didn't bring Trev. Me and Matt went into Tim Westwood. How do you reckon you'd have coped in a Tim Westwood environment, Trev?
I think I would have just backed into an English corner, I think.
Yeah, because you're a very English person, aren't you?
Yeah, I think it just made me go even more English.
Trev's a bit like, if you could imagine Alan Bennett, if there was a boy band called the Alan Bennetts, Trevor Locke would be the lead singer of them. How do you think Trev would have fared in the Westwood environment, Matt?
I think he would have... Well, you sort of coped with it by going into campness.
I went quite camp, yeah, because obviously I'm not going to feel comfortable going, that's a big look up there, bow, bow, and all those gunshots going off all the time in the studio. It's difficult to relax.
It's just, so enthusiastic that...
He is.
You get infected by it. I think Trevor would have fared okay, but I think
so, because Trevor's got quite a strong identity as an Englishman. I think he would have been okay. What, I feel like, it's lovely, because we bumped into Tim Westwood as well, like, just in the street, me, Matt and Trevor, just in the street. That's where you're going to bump into Tim Westwood. He's on the street.
Sounds like a lie, but...
It was in the hood. We bumped into him in Carnaby Street, was the street in London, and, like, we was outside having some breakfast, and it's weird when he says something normal, and because he said, I see you having your breakfast here. I come and have my breakfast here. They do porridge. And it seems strange to hear him talk about things like porridge. It seems odd and non sequitur when he does stuff like that. But like this language that Tim uses, and like that everyone that came on his show, like, you know, sort of there was LOC, they were sort of like a reggae group, and there was Nicky and Nike, they were like a pair of rappers. They all talk in the same way, big up this and that and the other. Like, do you think that this is the inevitable evolution of language, and that we'll all talk like that in the future?
I don't think so.
I can't imagine you, because you just sound like a Burlington Bertie just then in response to that question.
I really don't think that dog will become a normal word for
I like
friend.
that. I think I'm going to use dog. I think that's really nice to call somebody a dog
in
a new way.
Absolutely.
Trevor, you will not use that word.
I'm going to call myself a dog and other male friends.
You will not
big,
be
if they say big. Like he was saying big. Of all the words you could use to mean really good.
Big's an alright one.
That's big, that is big, it's really big.
What happens if something is big?
God knows.
That could be confusing if something is just a large object. It is an honour to welcome to our show Tim Westwood. Are you there, Tim?
Yo, what's up, man? How are you, bro?
I'm really well. It's lovely to hear you again, mate. I've missed you a bit since yesterday.
Yeah. Yo, this is a real Russell Brand Westwood weekend, brother.
Oh, no, but there's a lot of it, and then you're coming on One Leicester Square a little bit later today.
That's going to be a big look for me tonight, man. I'm really looking forward to that, man. I mean... That's a hot show, brother. People are really talking about that.
Thank you. Oh, Tim, I thought
you would come on there as long as you're not disrespectful.
I will not be
gangster limp.
Your gangster limp will be treated with nothing but respect, Tim.
As long as there's no disrespect towards my gangster limp, it's a go tonight.
Excellent. I'm glad it's a go, Tim. We had a great time on your show.
Understand on Westwood, and when Westwood says it's a go, it's a go.
Oh, it's a go, Tim. I feel
take that to the bank.
We can take that to the bank, Frank. I'll tell you what, Tim. I feel like I'm letting you down because because our radio show ain't got no gunshots or nothing in it.
I can live without the gunshots and I can live without the bombs because it's early in the morning.
It's early in the morning. But,
The bomb game is weak in the morning.
The bomb game is weak of a morning.
Exactly.
Perhaps
Come 9 o'clock, it's a go, baby.
Matt could do a sound effect of perhaps a bow and arrow being fired.
That guy's definitely got that William Tell haircut right now.
He has. He's got his barnet. He looks awful today. I don't know what he's doing
Tim,
himself.
why do you keep going on about my haircut?
Because this is a real Russell Brandon Matt Westwood weekend, baby.
Hey Tim, we was talking about like embarrassing incidents and occurrences and stuff, right? Because there could well have been one yesterday on the show. You know, when you asked me, Russell, who's your favourite hip hop artist? I said Tupac, mispronounced it because it was meant to be Tupac.
I mean, everyone in the UK says Tupac. The correct pronunciation is Tupac. But at the end of the day, if you love the artist, that's all that matters. And I believe Tupac is the greatest that ever did it, man.
Really? You think he's the greatest
ever? The way you said that, it really rung off. And then towards the end of the show, when I hadn't played any Tupac, you reminded me to get Hail Mary on for Christmas.
I'm glad you pronounced that. I'm glad you pronounced that correctly, Tim, because like you just nearly mispronounced Hail Mary. You know, that had a difficult situation. Had you asked Matt who his favourite hip hop artist was, what would you have had to have said, Matt?
I was terrified that you'd asked me, but I couldn't think of anyone apart from the Stutter Rap. Do you remember that?
All he knows is the Stutter Rap by Mervyn Stutter. That's the only bit of hip hop Matt knows.
I don't actually know that one myself.
Yeah, well, it wasn't. It was a novelty record, Tim, and it's an insult to the music genre that you love.
I'm a rocker.
I mean, talk about embarrassing moments. I thought it was very powerful last night. Your dancing.
Oh,
I mean,
dancing.
Listening to you dance on the radio was definitely one of the highlights of my career.
Thank you, Tim. Yeah, I had to do the Crazy Frog dance with LOC. They're sort of like a reggae duo, eh?
Yeah, exactly, man. They've got a real hot record out there, LOC, Crazy Frog, really mashing up the dances, man. And like, yeah, in reggae, there's dances which go with all the records. There's so many different dances, like, you were doing the Willy Bounce last night.
I did do the Willy Bounce. I'll tell you what, I did so much Willy Bouncing on your show that I couldn't Willy Bounce later on in the evening. It was very embarrassing. I did myself a mischief, Tim.
I'm sorry. All right. Well, next time we'll take it slower. But like, yo, man, it was definitely, it was great to have you in last night. And if you want to hear it again, you can go to www.bbc.co.uk.
Oh, Tim, concentrate.
Go to listen again.
We look to you, Tim. You're an idol. You're a radio icon. Me, Matt, and Trev. Oh, Trev's here as well. Remember Trevor? You met in the street the other day.
Oh, yo, is that your producer?
Good morning to you, Tim.
How
Happy
you doing,
Easter. I'm
man?
doing very well, yes.
I remember we had a discussion about what were you talking about?
I think it was a little bit too rude to talk about on Easter Sunday.
It was when you get a little known, you can relax on certain things.
Exactly, that's what we were talking about, yes.
Yeah, that's what it's about. It's lovely to think of you and you two having a conversation because Trevor is the most English man in the country. He's a ridiculous little character. It's a miracle that he copes. Tim, have you got any
Probably the last one left.
Yeah, he is. I think he is. We should cherish him. Tim, have you got any requests that we could play on the show? We thought it would be interesting if you requested something that weren't a hip-hop track.
Ooh.
Is there anything at all?
I don't really know much outside hip-hop and, some R&B and reggae.
All right, well then think of something that we might have here and we'll play it for you a little bit later in the show, Tim.
Ooh.
You
Is any Jimi Hendrix?
We'll have Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
It's a good choice, Tim.
I like
That's a big look.
Traffic,
Crosstown Traffic, great
Electric Glide in Blue.
Right, we're going to do Crosstown Traffic for you.
Voodoo Child would really ring off at this time of the morning.
Tim, we're doing Crosstown Traffic for you, or Voodoo Child. We'll have a little rummage through the archive. Tim Westwood, thank you very much for coming on our show. It's been lovely talking to you.
I look forward to seeing you tonight on MTV at 8 o'clock for One Leicester Square, which is 1 week before Westwood blasts off with Pimp My Ride UK, the second season.
It's going to blow up in your face, dog. Thanks, Tim.